So, I think Nash was, there was a war back there, man. Kevin Sullivan. I remember one time, man, Sullivan was, I think he was the booker.
Yeah.
And he said something like, yeah, you're just mad because you're not tall enough to get on the kids' rides at Disney World or some shit. I was like, oh my God, that's awesome. And so, and they were always going back at each other, And I remember like one time with Hogan, they were mad at each other. Like this was a shoot. Like these guys were shooting on the air, which is awesome.
Yeah.
And I remember he said something like, yeah, I was checking you out in the shower or some bullshit like that. And I like your thong or something like that. Hogan told Nash, he goes, why are you checking me out so close, big man?
Yeah, I remember that.
And then I remember he said something, and then I remember Nash ended it with something like, why are you wearing your wife's sunglasses? Because remember they were white.
Yeah.
They looked like a female sunglass. So everybody, there was a lot of heat backstage, and a lot of it was, bearing each other on the mic.
And, as you mentioned, like when guys portray characters that are closer to themselves, people can tell it works better. It's the same thing with if guys really have heat. If you can't tell on the air, then they kind of hint at it, and it just works better. And one of those situations was when the nWo split, because there was the real heat between Nash and Hogan, and you had the Nash side and the Hogan side. Of course, you wound up with the Wolfpac. And it didn't seem like the two nWos ever really had that final battle and stuff. Do you think Wolfpac was handcuffed because Hulk had all that creative control?
That could have been, but I think it's just we just had a lot of heat with Eric. Nash had a lot of heat because Nash didn't give a shit, and he had a lot of power, and they knew that if Nash left, Hall would leave. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so he was always pushing the envelope, and he didn't give a fuck. Luger had a lot of heat, and he had power, and he didn't give a fuck. Macho Man really didn't have any heat. Who was the other guy that was Sting never had any heat, and I had mega heat. And I had more heat than the other two because Eric was like, okay, these guys are stars. Who the fuck are you? You know what I'm saying? And I was always kind of like, I'm not a star, but you're still not going to disrespect me. You know what I'm saying? And so that got me extra heat. You know what I'm saying? That in his eyes, I didn't know my place.
Yeah, I mean,
so that was another reason why they didn't do anything. We just had too much heat with Eric.
It made me. I didn't have this written down. It makes me think. Weren't originally you supposed to head the LWO and then it went to Eddie? What was the reason for the change? Because they wanted to put you in the Wolfpac?
Right.
Okay, I got you.